I want you to know, important thing, I took off the clamps on my shirt.
Do you have a message, Mr. President, for women who were protesting outside the White House yesterday?
Yes, keep protesting, because keep making your point. It's critically important. We can do a lot of things to accommodate the rights of women in the meantime, but fundamentally, the only thing that's going to change this is if we have a national law that reinstates Roe v. Wade. That's the bottom line. There's things we can do to accommodate particular abuses beyond, like not being able to cross state lines, those kinds of things, and being able to access women's private information and so on. That we can work on that. But as president, I don't have the authority to say that we're going to, state Roe v. Wade as the law of the land. The only way we do that is through an election of the United States Congress. In the meantime, states can make those judgments. So my ultimate goal is to reinstate Roe v. Wade as a national law by passing it in the United States Congress, and I'll sign it the moment that happens. But I'm going to go on my ride, okay?
Yes, Mr. President. One quick follow-up. One of the things they are asking for is a public health emergency. Is that something you're considering?
That's something I'm asked the folks, the medical people in the administration to look at, whether I have the authority to do that and what impact that would have. Okay?
Thanks so much.
Novak Djokovic notched his 4th consecutive Wimbledon title and 7th overall, throwing his arms in the air and celebrating with his trademark move of eating a few blades of grass off of center court. His unseeded opponent, Australian Nick Kyrgios, pushed Djokovic hard, serving 30 aces, but the Serbian star eventually seized control of the game in front of the All-England Club crowd, which included British royalty. The win brings Djokovic's Grand Slam title count to 21, one shy of Rafael Nadal's 22. And the victory comes during a season that hasn't always gone as planned. Djokovic was deported from Melbourne ahead of the Australian Open and lost to Nadal at the French Open quarterfinals. He may not be able to play at the U.S. Open in New York this summer over his refusal to be vaccinated against COVID-19. As for Wimbledon, the two finalists who used to have a frosty relationship now say their bromance is strong, with Djokovic promising to make good on a deal to buy Kyrgios dinner. Djokovic called Kyrgios a phenomenal player, while Kyrgios described Djokovic as, quote, a bit of a god.
Gunmen killed 15 people in South Africa's Soweto township in the early hours of Sunday morning, police have said, after entering a bar and shooting randomly at the patrons. 9 people were also injured in the attack at the Orlando East Tavern on the outskirts of Johannesburg in Gauteng province. Faith Mazibuko is a member of Gauteng's Executive Council.
The type of the rifles that we used, which is the AK-47, really does injure a person in such a way that that person sometimes never becomes easy for them to actually survive.
Gauteng's police commissioner, Elias Moela, said no specific person had been targeted and that you could tell the assailants had fired randomly from the way bullet cartridges were scattered around. Police have also confirmed a second apparently random shooting on Saturday evening in a tavern in Pietermaritzburg, in which 4 people were killed and 8 injured. That took place around 300 miles from Soweto, and police said there was no suspicion that the incidents were linked. South Africa is one of the world's most violent countries, with 20,000 people murdered each year, one of the highest per capita murder rates globally. At the headquarters of Japan's ruling party, Prime Minister Fumio Kishida is putting paper roses next to the names of candidates expected to have won seats in the upper house of parliament. And it looks like the Liberal Democratic Party leader will need a lot of rosettes. His coalition government is projected to have increased its majority in an election on Sunday, 2 days after the assassination of former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. Japan's longest-serving modern leader, who was a senior LDP lawmaker, was gunned down on Friday during a campaign speech in the western city Nara. At the LDP's offices, Kishida held a moment of silence. The LDP and its junior coalition partner Komeito held 69 of the 125 contested seats going into the vote. An exit poll by public broadcaster NHK predicted they would win between 69 and 83 seats. The LDP was projected to win as many as 69 seats on its own, according to the exit poll, which would give it a majority even without Komeito. Elections for Parliament's less powerful upper house are typically a referendum on the sitting government. A change of government was never at stake, as that is determined by the lower house. However, the strong showing could help Kishida consolidate his rule. It's a chance, analysts say, for him to achieve his goal of boosting military spending at a time of tension with neighbours China, Russia and North Korea. The gains might also allow Kishida to revise Japan's pacifist constitution, a dream Abe never achieved. Election results are expected on Monday.
Rescuers were racing to find survivors after Russian rockets hit a 5-story apartment complex in Ukraine's Donetsk region, killing at least 15 people, with at least 24 more feared trapped, local officials said. Emergency workers picked through the rubble on Sunday, some seen carrying out a body wrapped in a white sheet. One resident fought back tears as she described how she tried to save her 2 kittens.
But I was thrown into the bathroom. It was all chaos. I was in shock, all covered in blood. By the time I left the bathroom, the room was full of rubble. 3 floors fell down. I never found the kittens under the rubble.
The chief of staff to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky called the strike another terrorist attack and said that Russia should be designated as a state sponsor of terrorism as a result. Russia, which says it is conducting a special military operation to demilitarize Ukraine, denies deliberately attacking civilians. Donetsk is part of Ukraine's Donbas region, an industrial section in the east. Russia wants to wrest control of the Donbas on behalf of separatists in the region that it supports. Ukraine and the West call Moscow's invasion of Ukraine an unprovoked war of aggression.